Hey folks, Colin here from Sumthins Recording, and today I'm going to show you how to EQ background vocals in just 3 simple steps. Today we're looking at EQing background vocals, but before we dive in, if you are ready to go a little bit deeper into the mixing process in its entirety and really start to hone your workflow as an audio engineer, then I have just the thing for you. It is my 7-step mixing checklist, and it's just a simple PDF that will walk you through the entire mixing process, step by step, to help you get professional and radio-ready mixes without any more of the hassle and without any more of the guesswork. It is a completely free guide, and you can download it below using the link in the video description. Now let's jump in here and take a look at these background vocals. So, of course, first of all, let me hit play here so you can hear this section of the song really quickly. I'll go back just a little bit. This is the bridge section of this song, and it's made up of this stack of background vocals. You can see it's 4 stereo pairs, so each vocal is double tracked and has a left and right to go along with it. So we're going to listen to this bridge section here, and then I'll solo up just the background vocals so you can hear what they sound like by themselves as well. Just give me the Now, with background vocals like this, with a stack of background vocals, you want them to sound big, you want them to be wide, and you want them to have some good air to them without taking up a whole bunch of space or muddying up the mix. That's what our 3 steps for EQ are going to take care of today. We're going to get rid of low-end information, we're going to get rid of muddiness, and we're going to give these background vocals some air. So step number 1 here, our first EQ step is, of course, a high pass filter. So I've got the high pass rolled up quite a bit here, you can see. We're all the way up at 240 hertz. So we're rolling off all of this bottom end here and cutting up a little bit into the low mid information as well. We don't need any kind of heaviness or any kind of muddiness, and we don't need any sub information. With a big stack of background vocals like this, any kind of air blasts or breaths are going to build up, and you're going to have a lot of information going on down in the sub area that you don't need, because it's going to build up and you're going to hear it inside your mix then. So I'm going to hit play here. We'll start without the high pass in, and then I'll click it in. See if you can hear the difference, how it cleans up the bottom end on the stack of vocals here. Hear all of those sub frequencies. You can see them too building up because it's, 8 background vocals here, right? A bunch. So it's 4 pairs. So there's 2. That gives us 8 background vocals, 8 vocals stacked on top of each other like that. We're gonna have a lot of sub information that we don't need. So just throwing on our high pass filter really cleans up our bottom end there. So that's our first step, simple high pass filter. And an easy way to set it if you don't know where to put it. Sometimes it's tricky to reduce low end. So an easier way to do this sometimes is to go way too far with your high pass filter and then ease it back here. So let's go way too far with our high pass. And what we're going to do now is we're going to pull it back. So instead of trying to take away bottom end, now we're adding bottom end back to our background vocals here. Sometimes it's an easier way to set the high pass. So we have all the bottom end we need on the vocals, and we don't need to go down any further because there's nothing else we need to add back to these background vocals. So it's a nice, simple way to think about it instead of taking away bottom end. Sometimes it's easier to add bottom end back. Now, step number 2 is reducing any kind of muddiness or buildup in the mid-range or the low-mid area. So here we're up towards the mid-range here. We're at 554 hertz, and I'm pulling out about 6 dB, and you can see I've widened the Q a little bit. Again, with a stack of vocals like this, with 8 vocals stacked on top of each other, you're gonna have frequencies that build up. Usually being close to a microphone, you're gonna have some low-mid buildup, and then stacking it 8 times, we're gonna have quite a bit of low-mid information that needs to be pulled out here. So a wider Q, pulling out 6 dB, we're gonna take care of this low-mid information here. You can hear how much clarity we gain on the background vocals because by pulling out all of this buildup here, we make room for the pretty stuff up on the top end, and in the high mid information here, we make room for all of that to shine through and be the main focus on the background vocals. We don't want to hear all this muddiness and all this nasalness, all this buildup in the mid range and in the low mid. That's not what we're selling on background vocals. We're selling the pretty top end, we're selling that air, and we're selling that brightness that's going to be really nice spread wide inside the mix here. So a wider Q can help you because we're trying to get rid of this low mid information and some of this nasalness, this buildup in the mid range here. So I'm gonna go one more time here. I'm gonna boost this up and I'll sweep it around a little bit so you can hear the groups of frequencies that we're taking care of. We're taking care of some of this buildup here around 350 and then some of this around 600 here as well. By pulling all that information out with a wider Q, we make plenty of room for what we're gonna do in step 3 up on the top end here. So step 1, we're getting rid of all the sub frequencies, all that buildup on the bottom end that we don't need with a stack of vocals. Step number 2 is we're reducing the mid-range and the low-mid buildup from, again, a stack of 8 vocals. So all that muddiness, all that nasalness that we don't need taking up space in our mix. Step number 3 is where we add air up on the top end. So we are super, super high here. This isn't a normal boost I would do on anything else inside of a mix here, but on background vocals, I like adding super, super top end and putting a wider Q so it reaches down towards the normal kind of top end, like 7, 8K, where I would normally boost on vocals, so like lead vocals. But here we're up at 12.5K, 12.48K, boosting about 4 dB, and then that wider Q so it reaches down towards the normal high-end information here. Take a listen without this boost, and then I'll click it in. You can hear the air that we're going to add to this group of background vocals. You can hear that brightness that suddenly comes in on the vocals, and it's that little bit of crispiness that helps our background vocals be present and sound really nice parked out wide in our mix there. That little bit of air gives them some movement and some prettiness up on the top end, but that crispiness up there is what helps them cut through, and that's what we're getting with this wider curve here. The air is coming from this super top end up at like 12, 13K there, reaching up to like 15K. That crispiness is what we get with the wider Q reaching down towards 6, 7, and 8K here. That's some of that crispiness. That's why I'm not boosting lower. I don't want to add so much of that because then things get harsh pretty quickly there on a group of vocals. Reaching up higher and a wider Q, that's how you get the air and the crispiness. So listen one more time without and then with. Okay, so let's throw our compressor back on here, and let's throw our background vocals back inside the mix here, and I'll do an A-B on our EQR processing here so you can hear the before and after. So here's with the processing, and then I'll take it off and flip back and forth inside the mix here for you. Three steps for EQing background vocals to get clarity and air on your background vocal stack here. Step number one, reducing all of the bottom end here, so all that sub frequencies that we don't need building up on the bottom end. Step number two is pulling out groups of frequencies in the low mids and the mid range to reduce muddiness and nasalness building up on a stack of vocals. And step number three is adding air and that crispness that you want on your background vocals up on the top end. I hope that was helpful for you. As I mentioned at the beginning of the video, if you're ready to take your mixes to the next level and really start dialing in your workflow as an audio engineer, then I have just the tool for you, and it is completely free. It is my 7-step mixing checklist, and you can download it below to start creating more professional mixes in less time. Thank you so much for watching today, and I will see you in the next video.